Greetings and salutations. I'm back. So, what do we got going on here? Um, Stupid phone updates. Um, Go ahead and get this going. Hold on. So, I'm the Music God CJ playing. This is Music God Reacts. We are live. I've got my goodies. And with all that said, we got major announcements. So, for those of you that are around, you're going to find out all about what's going on with the podcast, what's going on with a brand new radio show that I'm going to be doing, what's going on with the future of this channel, and all this other fun, goody stuff. So, first off, this channel. I've got all your reactions. I haven't done any in the past week. I apologize. It's been just a really bad, rough week. I worked really hard on new logos and all that kind of stuff. So, with all that said, it kind of slips through the cracks, but uh, they are coming. I promise. I have a couple done. I haven't posted yet, but for the most part. Um, so, let me see. Greetings, Michael. Welcome to the channel. Definitely. And always glad. I am taking requests. So, again, for the reaction channel, if there's something you want to see me do, feel free to throw it into the chat and I'll write it down and all of that. I do have Galernius coming. I have some new Teskey Brothers. I have some new stuff from The Warning coming. I have new stuff from Love Bites coming. I have new stuff from Loudness, Maximum the Hormone, and a bunch of other stuff. So, SOS, yes. I have new Dimash coming as well. I have not forgotten, guys. I believe me, I have not. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? I've not given up on Dimash or Diana or any of the older stuff that I did, Nightwish and all of that. The truth of the matter is this takes a lot more time to do than I initially expected, and I want the quality to be better, so it takes a little longer. So please bear with me. We are setting up a Patreon as well to go with it. Not really going to be pushing it a whole lot. It's going to be one of them things where if you choose, awesome. There's going to be some cool swag to go with it. But at the same time, if you don't, that's okay too. I'm not really going to. One of the best authentic reactions I've seen. Not here to request Dimash, just checking in on your chat. I appreciate it, brother. I have the podcast that I do on top of the reactions, where I interview people and do fun stuff. I have a new radio show coming that we're going to talk about here in a minute, and there's a lot going on. So, I will say this about it. I've done this for 35 plus years. I started music, quote unquote, my music career as far as being able to earn money from music when I was 15 years old. I'm 52 years old this year. So 37 years now I've done this. I have heard tens of thousands of bands. I've seen thousands of live shows in 12 countries, 40 plus states. I have traveled musically, playing live, opening for some of the most major bands in metal. I have heard really amazing singers, really bad singers, really middle of the road singers. Dimash caught me completely from left field. Um, and I've heard very amazing singers over the years. Pavarotti, Freddie Mercury, Mike Matejevich's Steelheart, um, Rob Halford, Jeff Scott Soto, Dino Jalusic, Ronnie James Dio, um, all amazing vocalists in their own right. But the Mosh Man was just like, wow. It was just, you don't see it coming. And it's very organic and it's not contrived. Like you can tell. I've seen a lot of R&B singers, a lot of gospel singers, that they will take a song and they'll just add notes upon notes upon notes to do vocal runs, to puff themselves up. And it sounds like they're wailing, and it it loses its sense of self. And Dimash was so clean. There was no extra notes. It was just taking the notes that were supposed to be there and extending them in a way that I'd never really seen done before, and it caught me completely off guard. So yeah, it was like, holy shit, like who is this dude and why have I not heard of him? But yeah, absolutely one of the greatest singers I've ever heard in my life. Talent beyond talent, and just no other way to describe, man. Just pure, unadulterated awesomeness. Um, so with that said, the podcast. Let's start with the podcast. The podcast, there were two of them. There is the Noise Report, which is where I interviewed people and we talked about all kinds of crazy stuff: music, pop culture, horror movies, sports, geeky stuff. Um, and then there was a second one called the Racket Bracket, where we did these brackets of crazy stuff, greatest all time guitarists, not named Eddie Van Halen, greatest bassist, not named Billy Sheehan, Zub Joseph. We did these brackets of, the greatest tag teams of all time. And we put them into this random generator and it threw out the brackets. It created it for us so that it wasn't me making them. It was just this computer generated brackets. And sometimes the brackets were really insane. When we did the guitarist one of the very first, as it was going down the bracket, second bracket that it chose was Randy Rhoads versus Dimebag. So it was immediately just like right out of the gate, oh shit, like I got to pick between these two in the very first round. So my phone is going to start going crazy now. So, yeah. Let me see. I think because Dimash won't or hasn't signed with U.S. music industry, that they're keeping him off the airwaves. By the way, I grew up with Eddie and Alex and David Lee Roth. Yeah, the crazy thing is the American music industry is so I gotta be careful about the words I choose. The American music industry is so cannibalistic, I guess, in the sense that, for example, during the time that I played music, I chose to play metal, heavy metal, like this band. We were called Psychotic Therapy. We had a CD out called The Colors of Rage. And we were in the vein of Nuclear Assault, Morbid Angel, um, Corrosion Conformity, um, At the Gates, kind of like that. Not really death metal, but elements of death metal, much heavier than normal metal. Um, we were kind of like you know, as close as you could get to death metal without actually being death metal, I guess. For the sake of argument, metalcore before metalcore existed. So thank you, Joseph, bro. Like it means a lot to, like I've said before, when I started this. Okay, I've done this for 30 plus years. I've done metal, I've done country, I've done hip hop, I've done reggae, I've done punk, I've done classic rock, I've toured all over. Some of the bands that I've got to open for over the years include King Diamond, Seven Dust, Bork Nagar, Malevolent Creation, Bolt Thrower. We've played with Deicide. We've played with Ex Hoarder. We've played with Pantera. We've played with um, um, God. Who else have we played with? We've played with Seven Dust. We've played with Cold Chamber. We've played with Babylon AD. We've played with um, Warrior Soul. We've played with tons and tons of bands, and it was one of them things that, as the trends ebbed and flowed, you saw bands that would hit a peak, and then the labels would come in like piranhas, and they would pick up every band that sounded like that. When Bon Jovi was at its peak, you saw Blue Tears, and you saw all of these bands that were just clones essentially of Bon Jovi, and they shoved it in your face. And you're seeing it now. You're seeing, okay, Drake, and then they'll take any second-rate rapper who is remotely got that same style of beat or that same. I'm trying to get this light. Got the same style of sound as like Drake or Rod Wave or anybody like that, and they'll just mimic it to the point that it's horrible, and it's all you hear on the radio. So anything that's not derivative, anything that's not watered down, anything that's got any kind of originality, American radio is not going to touch it, which I think is the main reason Dimash probably will never break into American radio, because it's just not. It's too organic, and it's too original, and it's too over the top for American radio. Even bands like BTS, who have a massive global following, really haven't broken in American radio, because again, it's just, it's sad. Like, American radio is so horrible, and I hate it. Thankfully, we have people like Mr. Doug over here, the Rock Dog Show, the number one show on Mixcloud right now. So check out the Rock Dog Show, man. That is a major achievement. Understand that there are thousands upon thousands, probably tens of thousands of shows on Mixcloud from dozens of genres. And this man has taken a show that he does completely on his own, and he made it number one. That's a hell of a feat, man. If you don't know the work that goes into what we do when we're talking about internet radio, we're not Eddie Trunk. We're not Howard Stern. We have no producers. We have no people to answer our phones. We have nobody to set up our interviews. We have nobody to make our playlists. We have nobody to banner with. It is me, myself, and I with a huge music collection, creating playlists, taking interview requests, interviewing those people, producing it, editing it, and getting it all done in a timely manner. So when you can hit number one doing that, in the words of James Brown, you a bad man. So yeah. Um, you know, yeah. Rock Dog Show, man. Check them out. That's all I'm saying. Check them out. Cause um let me see. To get on American radio takes a great promoter. Get a radio promoter who cares, and your music will get there. It's true, there's so many bands that sound alike, and I agree. You must, and I mean true. There's nothing wrong with inspiration because, indeed, myself with my old band was always tried to make our own sound. Um, yeah, there's nothing wrong with having influence. There's nothing wrong with being influenced by bands. The problem is when you when you set yourself up to be nothing but um, kind of a mirror of your influence, you walk that line into being a cover band or a tribute band. Um, you got to add your own thing to it. You got to have that passion for it. You got real recognizes real. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can tell you right now, when I hear a new band, I can tell you whether this band is about what they're doing or if they're just doing it for the fame. If they're just doing it for the girls, we're just doing it because we're going to be famous, bro. Okay, awesome. Some of those bands get really successful, and some of those bands never leave the garage. And then I see bands that get famous and have no business being famous, and it just kind of is what it is. But um, it's so going back to the podcast. I got off track. Sorry. There will be one podcast now. It will be called The Noise Report, and I will be posting. If you go to my YouTube, if you go to Facebook, I'll be posting all of the logos and everything, information about the shows where you can contact me, all that kind of stuff. I'll also do a post with all of it here, separate of this, so you can see all of this and check it all out. The podcast is going to be called The Noise Report. The Noise Report, we're going to have a lot of fun with it. I'm still going to be interviewing people. Just music interviews and fun stuff. But we're going to do some of the racket bracket stuff on there. I will bring in musicians and we'll talk. We'll do a bracket of, the greatest keyboard players of all time, the greatest bass players, the greatest drummers, the 10 best prog records or the 10 best thrash records of all time. We'll do a bracket with 16 of those or whatever. And we'll, what is the greatest thrash record of all time? All that kind of fun stuff. We're going to be doing some other cool random stuff ideas I have as well. I'm going to be doing some roundtable stuff where I bring in into the meeting 4, 5, 6 people, and I start throwing out names and we discuss those records or we discuss those movies or whatever. But it's going to be very interactive, a lot of fun. The radio show. Radio show is going to be called Riot On The Set Radio. I had the show before. We kind of let it die off because it got so hectic, and it was just one of them things where we lost the plot on it. But Riot On The Set Radio is going to be me doing a 1-hour weekly radio show, just like you would hear on XM radio or Sirius radio, or if you turn on your local radio. It's going to be the Music God CJ playing, bringing you the greatest rock and roll music, metal, punk, country, hip hop, blues, Americana, all across the board. Boom. We're going to have weekly theme shows. The very first show I would tell you are going to be the top 15 hard rock and metal records that influenced me. These are 15 records that had more influence on me musically than anything in all aspects of my life. And I'm going to play you a song or two off of each one. And we're going to do a hip hop show. We're going to do a country and Americana show. We're going to do a thrash metal show. We're going to do some glam and hard rock. We're going to do punk records. Each week is going to kind of be themed, and just stupid hair of mine, man, is just long hair sucks. But we're going to get crazy with the radio show. With the radio show, this is all the rules are out the window. It's just going to be loud. It's going to be obnoxious. And you're going to hear a lot of my favorite music. You're going to hear the music that I listen to in the studio while I'm working that may or may not have videos associated with them. So we're not going to get into any video or any of that kind of shit. But it's just going to be rock and roll for the sake of rock and roll, man. Laughter. It's all about laughter, bro. One thing you will learn about me, I am hugely influenced by comedy. I am hugely sarcastic. I'm a big, giant smartass. So, with that said, you will hear a lot of elements of George Carlin, Lenny Bruce, Andrew Dice Clay, Sam Kinison. But you will also hear influences from Thea Vidal and John Panette, Ralphie May, Fluffy. You will hear influences from truckers, because I was a trucker for many years. My dad is still as a trucker. So you'll hear the influence of people like Elmer Fuddpucker and Gene Tracy and Catfish and Moms Mabley. You will hear I as a person am this giant amalgamation of all of the places I've been, all of the people I've been around. I wear my influences on my sleeve, much like I wear all these tattoos. And you'll see, I got a Corrosion Conformity, I got a Colt Ford, I got a Blue October. This is a tribute to my son. This is a West Memphis 3 tribute thing from when they got out of prison after being unjustly imprisoned for so many years. I have my big giant sleeve piece that, I got another one that's going over here. It's going to cover this monstrosity, but it's going to be a dedication to the 80s glam rock era, Dead Jailer rock and roll. So, yeah, man, we're going to do it, and we're going to continue to do it. And those are the main two things. So you got Riot on the Set Radio. Those new episodes are going to be out every Sunday. I'm going to drop it Sunday at noon. That's when it's going online. So Sunday at noon, just find me, like I said, on my social medias. Music God, CJ Plain. That's where you find me. Whether you want it on Instagram, whether you want it on Facebook, whether you want it on TikTok, whether you want it on Twitter, it's all going to be Music God, CJ Plain, just like you see at the bottom. So, yes, I don't do ups, I only do downs. Yes, John Panette, man. So the radio shows are going to be posted on Mixcloud, mixcloud.com. So I think it's actually mixcloud.com/CJ Plain, but I'll be posting all the links and I'll be promoting the hell out of it. Ooh, ouch. Yowzy. Sliver, look at that. Ooh. Ouch. Heavenwood floors. Not a good thing. But those will be posted 60 minutes. Like I said, we're going to cram it full of crazy music. And if you've ever heard me do radio before, I go deep. Okay, this is not your run-of-the-mill radio where the average person, we're going to do a hard rock show, and then I'm going to give you Dawkins and Bon Jovi and Motley Crue. And no, I'm I'm bringing you the bangers, okay, all the way across the board. Whether it's a hip hop show, whether it's a country show, whether it's a hard rock show, whether it's a thrash metal show, whether it's a modern rock show, we're bringing you the bangers, bro. I'm telling you right now, your head will be doing the thing. So get in early because it's going to be crazy. As like Michael Monroe says, dead jail or rock and roll, bro. Dead jail or rock and roll. With the podcasts are going to be right here on this channel. So if you come to see the reaction videos, we're going to be posting the podcast right along with it. We're going to touch up the production a little bit. We're going to add some fancy stuff in, some cuts and animations and different things to kind of make it fun. But those are going to be right here, right where they're at now. And I've been kind of lazy about posting them lately, but I got some good ones going. I'm not going to throw out any names of who they are, but I got a one with an upcoming female rapper out of Buffalo who is amazing. I got one with a band out of Denver who you will know they're relaunching under a new name. I got a Vegas band who is amazing. I have some other bigger names that we're going to be scheduling with, well-known names in the rock and roll industry. So you'll be seeing them. Let's just say that we have a Right to Rock. That will be one of the interviews. If you know what I'm talking about, you don't have to say it, but that will be one of the upcoming interviews. Mixcloud is amazing. So let me see. You know what cool band you want to play? Yeah, brother. Yeah. So like whatever cool band you want to play. I'm telling you right now, when it comes to my radio shows, I go crazy with it. I love having a good time. We're going to do a reggae show. And I love reggae music. I know I may not look like a reggae dude, but I love reggae music. So you're going to hear some Wagwan music. You're going to hear, like I said, you're going to learn a lot of new names. You're going to be fans of a lot of new bands, a lot of them up and coming, a lot of them bands that these are musicians that if I won a lottery and I started a record label, these are going to be the bands that I would personally look to sign on my record label. So, Romania. Whoa. Hello. Romania. Oh, what a great country. I've never been there, but I love the history and all the great essence of Romania, whether it be through gypsy influence, be through the old Dracula stories, be through historical references. Romania has such an amazing history. I love history. So, I bet, man. I've never had Romanian food, but I bet you it is amazing. I have had food from Armenia. We had a couple that we were friends with when I was married, and they were from Armenia, and they would make us food, and that woman could cook. She could cook, man. Like you just totally put her whole, not just her foot, but her leg all the way up to her knee in that pot, bro. Yeah. I'm sure you were a record label guy if I sent you our demo of my old metal band. Juggling videos, podcasts, advertisements, and social media. I know. That's always the part, man. Like, I need a social media manager. I just can't afford to pay one yet. So until I can, it is what it is. But you got to do what you got to do to pay the bills. So It's the price of admission for the rock and roll lifestyle. So, um, all right. Yeah, I used to live when I was a teenager. I lived in LA during the Sunset Strip days. I used to live all over. I lived in Gardenia, lived in Inglewood, lived in Redondo Beach, lived in a little sub area uh, over. Well, it would be East LA now, but I don't think it was really East LA at the time. It was a very mixed neighborhood, but um, it was awesome. Like it was long before all of this craziness that happens in LA now. It was back in 83, 82, 83, 84. I think is when I lived in the LA area. So during the heyday, man, of when, you know, it was just kicking off with the hair bands, Motley Crue, um, Motley Crue, Shark Island. A lot of those bands were just digging in and really kicking off, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger from there. So a lot of this musical knowledge, man, is from just being a street dog during that time, wandering all over, being a shadow in a lot of places that I should have never been in, and hanging out in parking lots and at parties that I had no business being at, doing things that I had no business doing at that age. But again, it's the price of admission for a rock and roll lifestyle. So, yeah. Um, I have a request from you. Please make a reaction to Kang Huang Ho cover of Queen of the Night. Okay, so let me write that down. Queen. Where did it go? Oh, it's not Queen. King. King. Lost it. Hyungho. Um, so from the name, I'm going to. Is it safe to assume he's Korean or maybe Chinese? Um, yeah, worldwide, absolutely, man. Um, um, Not sure where Kang is from, but it doesn't matter. We definitely will get that done. I have it written down, so um, it shall be done. Just give me a little bit of time to get it done, and oh, bro, Oingo Boingo! It's a dead man's party. Who could ask for more? um, Dude, that was such a crazy era. Like Oingo Boingo, bro. Like, what a fucking awesome band. You know, I mean, obviously Danny has gone on to have a phenomenal career doing movie soundtracks, but Oingo Boingo just as a band, like, you know, just God, what a freaking career, man. Like, what when you talk about, and this is another form of music that people don't realize that I really love, um, and just to kind of flex musically, new wave, synth wave, post rock, whatever term you want to use for it. But bands like um, the B-52s, Oingo Boingo, Depeche Mode, The Cure, Joy Division, um, um, Erasure, um, the Talking Heads, whether it was I'm trying to think of some of the other bands, Nitzer Ebb, um, it was an era of music that was so, Flock of Seagulls and the Motels and Quicksilver and it was, oh my God, like one of the great movie scenes, Back to School, Rodney Dangerfield, Robert Downey Jr. and he fucking, he has this giant party and the kids come wandering through and the band's playing on stage and the camera turns and oingo boingo, dead man's party, man. And it's like, dude, they got like oingo boingo to appear in this fucking movie scene. Like, like, oh man, um um oh, okay. It's for Stella. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I know who he is. I just didn't know his name. Awesome. I love Forstella. So um beautiful. I would definitely get to that. Um you do before he goes, this is Doug. This is his name is Doug Russ. Okay, so you can find him on Facebook as Doug Russ or the Rock Dog Show. Again, phenomenal. If you have music that you want promoted, you want played, even if you maybe necessarily you can make requests, I think. But hit up Doug for the Rock Dog Show. Doug is an absolute freaking champion of music, man, of all kinds. This is one of my good friends. I trust this man with my life. So definitely support the Rock Dog Show, So with that said, peace safe, brother. I will talk to you real soon. Um, it was a time like the 60s, so creative and anything goes. Yeah. It was just, you don't see that now, man. Like you don't see, again, the organicness of it. Like everything now sounds compressed and overproduced and it's so plastic. Not that there's not good musicians out there, but there was just something about that era. Me and a buddy were talking about it last night at 4 o'clock in the morning of wandering around Sunset Strip at 12:30 at night and going to knock off 7-Elevens to get hot dogs that, were two for $1 and to get a soda and, going to Tower Records and taking the bus all over town down to the beach and going to Venice Beach and hanging out on the boardwalk and seeing all the performance artists and seeing all the pop-up shops, that they'd sell sunglasses and they sold clothes and they sold just anything that you could sell, man. It was the hustle. And it was just undescribable. Like you had to be there to understand how fucking awesome that era was. Plain and simple. Like it just, it is so freaking fantastic. It was such an amazing era. Go back and watch old TV shows like Hunter. Go back and watch old episodes of those shows from the 80s and the early 90s, and you'll understand LA today is not the LA of that. It's just completely, I mean, there were still bad elements. There were still those, the downfalls of what LA was, but you couldn't do today what we did back then. I mean, we rode our bikes for miles, man, and never got messed with. We'd go to parties we had no business being at, but we were just kind of there, and you were just like, dude, need a beer? And it's like, dude, I'm 14. So, nobody cared. Like, it was fucking a party, man. Just, oh, it never be another time like that. But, um, pop music isn't about music. It's about dance moves or showing your skin. Yeah, sadly. Um, One of my biggest complaints, I think, give me a second, I need a drink. One of my biggest complaints, hip hop. Um, you have some really amazing female hip hop artists. Artists like Shay Noor, artists like Ciroc, artists like MC Light and Queen Latifah, who have achieved massive success by being successful lyricists, beasts, battle beasts. But sadly, you now have an entire generation of female hip hop artists that are famous for no other reason than doing crass music about WAP and about shaking your ass and just being a porn star, basically. And excuse me, I guess there's a place for that, but I don't care. Like, nothing Nicki Minaj, Megan Thee Stallion, Little Kim, any of them have said has meant one thing to me. It's just, and I'm not saying the guys are any better when they do it, but the difference between Sir Mix-a-Lot with Baby Got Back and Nicki Minaj with Anaconda is the context. Sir Mix-a-Lot was just having fun. I like big butts and I cannot lie. Your other brothers can't deny. It was tongue in cheek. It was praising the anatomy. Nicki Minaj is just crass in what she's saying. She's taking what Two Live Crew started and just dumbing it down even further than what Two Live Crew had already dumbed it down. And I'm going to go on record to say Two Live Crew is one of the worst hip hop groups of all time. They were horrible. The fact that they sold millions and millions of records based on the fact that, the PMRC come along and said, "Oh, you can't do this." It was the same with Ice-T and Cop Killer. Cop Killer had been out for almost a year. It wasn't a successful song. I mean, it was Ice-T, and it had the normal amount of success for Ice-T. But even Ice-T would tell you that if Tipper Gore and, Baker's wife and shit doesn't come along with the PMRC and blow that shit out of proportion, that song never blows up the way it does. Body Count in and of itself probably never becomes the success that it was. And, sometimes it is what it is. Two Live Crew achieved success because the PMRC made them famous. Because even as horrible as Two Live Crew was, when we were teenagers, we wanted to know what the fuss was about. Why are you talking about this band? What's the hype? So we went out and we bought the records, and then we were just like, "Oh, this is horrible." We didn't listen to it. It was crap. But there were millions and millions of kids who wanted to know what the hype was about. And they benefited from it. So Set My Standards very high in music, so it's very hard to listen to the mainstream music. I know it's bad, but I can't help it. And it's true. Like, yeah, it's absolutely true. Mega. There's my other boy, Mega Lockdown. This is the Mega family. Check out their channel. They are music. They are music reactors as well. Some of the very best. Mr. Mega is going through some things, cancer. So prayers to them. near and dear to my heart. I hooked them up with a design. We're gonna see what they do with it, but you're gonna see the Music Heals thing out there soon, hopefully. And you're gonna see me sport one of them suckers when they're done and when they're ready. All all the money goes to them for expenses that they're going to incur. Because we're gonna fight like hell to keep Mr. Mega alive, man. Because that's my boy, that's my brother, and love those guys to death, man. They welcomed me into their family. When I started this, one of the first early people to say welcome to YouTube, and we hope you're successful. And the thing about YouTube, it's a competition, but it's really not. You've seen them. Um, you've seen them when we did the collaboration with the Teskey Brothers video. So, um, huge, huge thank you to them for everything. But I agree totally about music. Like music is like beauty. Music is really in the eye of the beholder. So I would tell you, for example, I'm not an Eminem fan. I'm not. I give the man respect. I give him his due. I don't like Eminem. Nothing M has ever said has ever connected to me. And that's okay. I don't have to like Eminem. And you are perfectly fine for liking Eminem. I got no issue with that. I got no issue with somebody liking Nicki Minaj. I just don't. I understand the bands that I love, Creator, Cyclone Temple, um, At the Gates, are not going to be for everybody. I understand that when I do a reaction for Love Bites, some people are going to be like, holy shit, that's the greatest thing that there ever was. And there are going to be those artists that are just like, what? Dimash, for example, my mother, huge America's Got Talent fanatic. She loves all of the people who come on with her stories and sing these incredible songs. So I showed her Dimash, and she was totally into it until Dimash hit that note. One of my mom's things is she doesn't like super high notes. And I did it just to get a reaction because as soon as Dimash hit that note, she was like, and I laughed because I knew what a reaction was going to be. Um, so her reaction to Dimash was, I liked it until he hit that note. And then I had to explain, 7.7 octaves more than the piano, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, oh, that's all well and good, but it sounds like a fire siren. And I was like, well, yeah, kind of. Um, um, oh, you enjoy your food, Bubba. Enjoy your food. I'm not going to be on here much longer. I was just, like I said, shouting out the new radio show, Riot on the Set Radio Mixcloud is going on there. The Noise Report. Like I said, as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to be posting over at Facebook, over at Instagram, over at Twitter. I'm going to be posting all the new logos, where to find the stuff and information about the shows. So definitely check me out there. Music God CJ Plain, just like you see it right here at the bottom of the screen. Find me there. You will see what I'm talking about. We're going to go ham. We're going to go ham on this, man. So you're going to hear all kinds of insane craziness on these shows and on these podcasts. We're going to go just full tilt into it. Do I believe in ghosts? Because, bro, I have some real stories, and I'm actually watching you and Travel Channel show. Hun Choi Yu, he's Chinese, and I have not heard of him. Let me see, Hun. I just lost it. Where'd it go? Is it Chen Yu? I will check out him as well. What are some of the artists? Let me think about this. So Korean music, that I listen to. Obviously BTS, because my former stepdaughter was massively into BTS, which led me to um, Forestella, and it led me to Blackpink and many other artists. Um, Led me to a Japanese artist named Yo, how you say his name. He's originally from Sweden, but he relocated to there. Um, there is a band. I can't think of their name. They're a Korean hair metal band. Um, I love Asian music just in general. There are a number of Chinese hip hop artists that I love, um, but I don't talk about them much because of the politics involved between China, Hong Kong, and Taiwan right now. So it's one of them things where I tried to do a couple videos with these particular artists and I got dinged for them like right out of the gate because of it being politicized. So I just decided it's just going to be something I listen to, and we may even get into them on like the hip hop show themselves, but YouTube is not going to allow me to talk about it because of it. So, um, as far as ghosts, you know, I strongly believe in the afterlife. I believe that there is something on the other side. I believe there is something greater than what we are. I don't know what that is, but I've had experiences with that type of thing. Like um I will tell you an experience from high school. I dated a girl named Danielle. Danielle had a friend who was very into the occult. She was very into tarot cards and crystals and this whole reincarnation and all that crazy stuff that was associated with it. Ouija boards and you know whatnot. Now, at the time, I'm like 16, 17 years old. So, it is what it is. It's a teenage thing. Sitting in the lunchroom one day, I got my Walkman on. I'm listening to Rain and Blood by Slayer. Danielle taps me on the shoulder and she says, have Danielle do your reading. And I was like, no, don't mess with it. Not my thing. Oh, the music. No. So Danielle said, I'm going to have her do mine. Okay, whatever. Jennifer takes her tarot cards out and she lays them down. As soon as she lays them down, she backs away from the table. And Danielle says, what to say? Jennifer just wants nothing to do with these cards she's laid down at this point. Danielle's insistent that, she'd finish the reading. Jennifer says, no, I'm not going to do it. It's very bad. I don't want to be the harbinger of death. At this point, we're laughing because we're like, come on, you're being dramatic. It's fucking, hoodoo voodoo type of bullshit. Jennifer said, okay. Starts flipping the cards. Said this represents somebody close to you, somebody who raised you, or somebody who's very special to your life. Flips the next card. This represents midnight. Midnight is going to have an effect on this person's life. Flips the next card. This represents movement, a vehicle of some kind or some form of transportation. Flips the next card. This represents an accident, death of some kind. Flips the next card. Is the card represents, a hill or a body of water. She goes through all these cards. She tells Danielle, she said, someone close to you is going to die around midnight. And it's going to involve a hill or a body of water. And we were like, that's crazy. It's just way, way too specific. Voodoo. About 3 days later, about 2:15 in the morning, my fucking phone rings. I pick my phone up. Danielle's on the other end. She's fucking hysterical. Can't even understand what she's saying. Finally get her to calm down. She said, my uncle just got into an accident and died. I need you here now. Get on the bike. Ride over there. Uncle coming home from work. 12:02 a.m. Lost control of his Corvette. Flipped it up a hill, sideways, crossed the road, down a ditch embankment, into a fucking ditch. Died. Her uncle, the guy she lived with, who raised her, dead. We went to school Monday morning. When those doors opened and Jennifer walked in, parting of the Red Sea. Nobody would go within 50 feet of her. We were fucking spooked, bro. Spooked. This bitch told Danielle someone close to her is gonna die at around midnight and involve a hill or water. Her fucking uncle, who she lived with, who raised her, died at 12:02 a.m. by flipping his car up a hill, across the road into a ditch full of water. That was some witchcraft shit. Do I believe in ghosts? Do I believe there's some other forces at work? Yes. Do I believe the shit is eerie? Yes. Do I believe in the paranormal per se? Absolutely. And do I want anything to do with it? No. I didn't go through it. I mean, Danielle went through it, but I mean, I was there to support her, but it was like some hocus pocus witchcraft shit, man. And after that, I leave it alone, bro. I don't really watch ghost movies. I don't watch anything like Paranormal Activity. I don't fuck with it. I figure I will learn about that shit when they put my ass in the ground. Until then, I'm I'm just gonna continue doing what I do. We're gonna do the music thing and all of that. That's like my ghost story. That's the real life hocus pocus witchcraft shit, voodoo tarot card story. I know after that, Jennifer became a pariah. She ended up going to a different school because kids just were merciless to her after that. They called her a witch. They called her evil. They called her a demon child, just every horrible thing you could say. And I thought it was kind of unwarranted, but at the same time, I stayed out of it, bro, because I was like, you know what? That's it's the type of shit you write a horror movie about. You like the movie The Witchcraft, or The Craft, I think it was. That was the type of feeling it was. Like, it was just this unexplainable heaviness in the air after that. It was just, there was a dark energy, man. And it was like, okay, you open a door to something that shouldn't fucking be here. And yeah, just nothing to do with Jennifer after that. Daniel and I broke up, about 6, 8 months after that, and crazy, but you know, um, um, it is freaky because you know, like I don't mind music with those references in it, but sometimes they're too much. Like I don't get into music like Ghost much because to me it's kind of cheesy. Um, hold on a minute. I don't know why they're calling me because I told them I was going to be doing a live. But anywho, we're going to wrap this up. Look for me on all the social medias. Look for the announcements coming up immediately following this. All of the artwork will be presented to you of the shows. I got really awesome artwork. We're going to be telling you all about what's what. I will get these done this week, I promise. Like I said, I have it all written down. Um, I have the other ones as well, from the other shows. So I will catch up on all of this. I got some more Dimash coming and other different things. But with that said, y'all be well. Treat each other with kindness. Remember, the music heals. Check out the Rock Dog Show. Check out Mega Lockdown. Support them if you can, please. Mega's going through some things, so definitely um, any prayers or support or good karma you can send their way. Absolutely. Be well. Peace. Love y'all. Thank you for the support. From my heart to yours. Well.